Deontay, you have opening thoughts?
What's going on, guys? What can I say? November the 23rd. It's going to be amazing, amazing, amazing time for boxing and boxing fans. You know, with me and Luis Ortiz, you know, the first fight, it's self-explanatory. It was an amazing fight. You know, it was a thrilling fight, a fight that kept everyone on the edge of their seats from the first round through the 10th round. You know, no one knew what was going to happen until it happened. And here we are again. The same effect, you know, the same momentum, the same game plan coming in for us. I'm sure the same for him. He wanted to be the first Cuban heavyweight champion of the world. And I want to still want to keep my title. And this is what it's all about. The heavyweight division, the big boys, where it's the heavy hitters, where one hit to end everything, no matter how hard a person has worked, no matter how many weeks, how many months, one fight, one night, one blow can end it all. And we already know I'm the hardest hitter punch in probably boxing history, period. I'm coming to keep my title. November 23rd is going to be a great moment, and I can't wait.
All right, now we will open it up to the media for questions. And one thing I can tell you, when Deontay Wilder fights, it is must-see television. You have to be in the arena. It is something that you cannot miss. Any moment, a fight can end when Deontay Wilder is inside the ring, and we cannot wait for November 23rd. We will now open it up to the media. If you have questions for the reigning and defending WBC heavyweight champion of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Our first question will come from Steven. Steve, you have the floor.
The line, and just a couple quick questions. And just, you know, a lot of people wonder, you don't see in combat sports, MMA or boxing, that the fighter who wins by knockout grants the rematch. What was your mind process of wanting to grant Luis Ortiz a rematch?
Well, my ultimate thing of granting Ortiz was the rematch. Well, I won't say the ultimate. It's several reasons. One, you know, he's one of the best in the world. No one is still giving Ortiz the opportunity, even after me defeating him the first time. You know, most time when you do, especially when you knock him out, other guys are willing to fight him. They see weaknesses. They see kinks in his armor. But in Ortiz's situation, in his case, none of these guys still, they didn't want to fight him then, and they don't want to fight him now. So I wanted to give him an opportunity again to prove all doubts, even in our first fight that we had all doubts. And secondly, you know, Ortiz has a family. I grew up a great bond with Ortiz the first time, you know, with his child, and my child is born with a disorder as well. So I know personally how hard it is and how much it takes to take care of a child with a disorder. You know, it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of care, and I grew a great bond with him. So I've seen a lot of the top guys in the heavyweight, they want to bless him. You know, he need money to support that, and I wanted to bless him again, you know, not only for him being a great warrior, one of the best in the world, but also for his family. I wanted to bless his family and put him on pay-per-view. So if this is the last fight, because this might be his last hurrah, you know, at 40 years old, coming in, we all know when you fight Deontay Wilder, I take something from you. I take years from your life. And now this man going in here again to get some more. He already got some of that sweet potato pie the first time. I guess he's coming back for second. And I'm ready to fill his mouth up with it. So with that being said, you got November the 23rd, baby, in Vegas coming.
You know, you You've seen what happened in June with Anthony Joshua when he lost to Andy Ruiz. What have you taken from that fight to make sure you don't avoid those same pitfalls next Saturday?
Could you repeat that one more time, please?
Absolutely. You look at what happened with Anthony Joshua in June against Andy Ruiz. What have you done in your camp to make sure you don't avoid those same pitfalls next Saturday?
Well, me and Anthony Joshua, we have a different mindset. My mindset is very strong. It's way stronger than him. I spoke about this before. And Joshua, I don't think, he called it up on himself. He knew he was going to lose one day. He even spoke it. He spoke it into the universe. And even when it was time for it to happen, look, he gave his belts over to Ruiz. He literally transported his belts to this man. His energy gave his belts to this man. It was in day, you can see it. For me, my mindset is different. I'm a totally different king. I'm a totally different beast. I'm the best in the world, and I prove it each and every time I go in the ring. I'm not worrying about going in there and making any mistakes and stuff, and if I do make any mistake in the ring, rest assured I will correct it as the fight goes on. But I don't see this fight. I see this fight going one way, and that's Deontay Wilder knocking out Luis Ortiz, point blank and period. He knows it. I knows it. When we went in the ring the first time, he hit me with everything in the kitchen sink. Shots that he know that he usually hit opponents with, that they go down. But I'm a different beast. And with that being said, I got a lot of things that I got to do. I'm fighting for one champion, one face, one name, and that's the unification. And nothing is going to get in my way of that. Nobody.
And lastly, I wanted to ask you this, just because he brought your name up when he was in WWE recently, Tyson Fury. I just wanted to get your quick thoughts, Deontay. Did you watch anything with Tyson in WWE? And if you did, what did you think of Tyson's performances?
I didn't even get a chance to see it. I wish I actually got a chance to see it. I would have loved to seen it and see how he transformed, from boxing into the WWE. Although WWE is more entertaining, entertainment as far as acting things out, and boxing is more seriously. We risk our lives for sure. But it would have been refreshing just to see, how he does. With me, I don't hold grudges. I don't have no ill will towards no fighter at all, because I am a fighter myself, and I understand what we go through as fighters, and if any fighters have the opportunity to do other great things outside of the boxing ring, I'm all for it, because most fighters, they've been doing it for so many years, especially the ones, they've been doing it since they was kids. They feel like this is all they got. This is all they know how to do. And if this is all you know how to do is fight and let somebody dictate your career, then I feel sorry for you. The ones that know how to get out and go get another income or another resource, man, I congratulate you. And, and that's how I feel with that. I didn't get to see it, but hopefully I get to see a rerun or something and see how he did.
Thank you, Deontay. Best of luck next weekend.
Thank you so much.
Our next question will be from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Dan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Hello, Deontay.
What's going on, Dan?
Hey, I'm doing good, thank you. When they introduced you on the call, I think it was Ray Flores that mentioned that this will be your 10th title defense, and I was thinking there are not a lot of heavyweights that make 10 title defenses. He mentioned a few of them, guys like Larry Holmes, Klitschko, not even Mike Tyson got to that point. But I wondered, does that nice round number mean anything to you? I mean, to get to be successful on this fight and get to 10 title defenses in the heavyweight division, it's not easy to do.
It's definitely not easy to do. It's a great accomplishment for myself and for my career. It's definitely going to carry me as I rack up these numbers. But to be honest, at the end of the day, it just what it is. It's a number, for me. It's a great honor to be able to say this is my 10th title defense that I'm about to have. You know, when many thought I wasn't gonna never be the heavyweight champion of the world, period. And here I am, 10th title defense out of 41 fighters, 40 have been knocked out. You know, it's amazing to be at this point in time. And, you know, at this point in time, it just, right now, all I could do at this point in time for my career is just rack up numbers. You know, I've always fought for legacy. You know what I mean? And I'm still fighting to this day for that, you know. And I just want to be the best in the world, Dan. I want to be the best that ever done it. When people think about boxing, I want them to say Deontay Wilder, and I'm doing everything in my power. I've done everything in my power, you know, to try to bring that. I'm still doing it right now to be the best. And, you know, if numbers is what makes you, you know, stand out, if people look at numbers and see that what makes you stand out, then so be. But not only do I want the numbers to stand out for me, I want my actions to speak as well, too, because, you know, actions speak louder than words any day. And that's what it means to me.
All right. And now you mentioned earlier about that 7th round where, you know, he basically, as you said, threw everything in the kitchen sink at you, and you were able to survive by far the most difficult moment of your career, at least in my estimation. I wonder, how did you survive that 7th round, and what did it teach you about yourself that when you're in that kind of crisis?
I mean, the seventh round was an amazing time for me. It allowed me to see what I'm really made of. It allowed the world to see what type of champion, a true champion that they have in America, and he's been here. You know, with that 7th round being under the conditions that I was under, I was very proud of myself to be able to handle those situations, to be able to go into the fire like that. For one, just taking the fight, going into the fire like that with a flu. You know, proper protocol is to cancel that and wait to a later date until you're healthy. But, you know, being me, I'm hard-headed. You know, I always do things that many boxers don't do, and I think that deal with me wanting my legacy different from the rest. I don't want the same, you know, he got nice skills, and I want to be different. Oh, he talk like this. I want to be different. Yeah, that's why I do the things I do.
Okay. Do you feel you had knocked him down in the 5th round and seemed to be in control of the fight? Do you feel like in the 7th round when he was able to break through the way he did you maybe get a little bit lackadaisical, thinking, I had him down, I'm just wearing him down, I'm going to take him out, and then he surprised you, or how did you view what happened in the 7th round? How did it happen to you?
No. I never go in there and lose any. I'm always encouraged. I didn't get discouraged because I knocked him down and he came back. And I mean, you want to be honest. You know, in the 5th round, the bell saved him in the 5th round. If you want to be honest about that, I would. You know, I would love to do
in the 7th round, though, didn't it?
Well, you know, I wouldn't say so because I mean he still had 40 seconds. How many seconds did I have in the 5th round to finish him off? He had 40 seconds, and he couldn't do it. He threw everything, right. Everything, and me being sick. I keep telling you, I had the flu, and if anybody know anything about the flu, it makes you weak, mentally, physically, emotionally, and he couldn't get me out. He threw everything.
What do you remember about that, though? When he was thrown, do you remember a specific punch? Remember anything that was going through your mind as he's, has you up against the corner post? Like, what do you remember about those, like you said, about 40 seconds, maybe a minute or so of the round?
Yeah, I remember getting buzzed. When I threw, how it first happened, we threw a punch together. But he landed before me, and that what buzzed me the first time. But I was like a slight buzz the first time, and then I tried to bluff it, but I didn't bluff it. When I bluffed it, I wasn't separating myself from him. I didn't have enough distance apart from each other. So I was pawing my jab just to let him know I'm still here, I'm active, to bluff that I'm a slight buzz from that impact that happened. He caught on to it, being that he was, experienced fighter and stuff. He read body language. He caught on that I was I was buzzed, and that's when he came again with the right hand, and then that's when it became a severe. I was never hurt. You know, I think people use hurt too much. They throw that around too much, you know, because they don't understand the difference between buzz and hurt, you know. And I advise anybody, if you're in boxing and you want to talk about boxing, experience some of the things that we go through. Go in the ring and get hit and see what it feels like to get buzzed or maybe even get knocked out. But but I understood everything what was going on with me. You know, I was coaching myself internally. You know, my inner voice was telling myself to keep going, make sure the referee sees you, make sure you just keep hitting them. You know, I didn't want to make any punch effective because I didn't want to waste any, you know, unnecessary energy because I wanted to be able to get this buzz. I want to recover. So I didn't want to use that much energy. So I hit them anywhere I could, no matter where it was, so the referee can understand that I'm very active, I'm aware, and I can still fight. And I don't think I got enough credit then for that, you know what I mean, especially with the commentaries, you know, that were commentating the fight. They didn't understand what I was doing, how I was closing in perimeter on him. I didn't give him enough space where he can release off enough punches. I stayed close to him in the pit pack. I didn't get no credit for the intellect that I had in the ring coming around in the 7th round, you know. So, you know, everything I knew what I was doing. And when the bell rung, as you can see, I knew exactly where I was. I went right back to my corner, and I still was talking shit going back there, too.
All right, very good. Deontay, thank you so much for that great description, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
My man, thank you.
Next question will be from Bernard Fernandez with thesweetscience.com.
Yeah, Deontay, for most of the time leading up to this fight, and even with the last fight, there's been a lot of talk about family. You know, you appreciate him being a family man, getting you being a family man, all that other stuff. I found it a little interesting that when he was on earlier, he was talking about describe some of your tactics as borderline criminal. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say that about you before, but I mean, what is your response to him saying that some of what you do is you know, possibly illegal, you know, or you know, beyond the rules?
What you mean? What I do is illegal?
I mean, well, he described some of the tactics as borderline criminal. I mean, have you ever heard that before? And where does it come from? Does it cause you to look at him any differently?
You know, I never heard of that, so I never heard of that, so I'm a think he's being sarcastic. And the only thing that's criminal is me hitting people with the right hand and almost killing them. That's the only thing I can go with.
Okay.
Because I don't understand nothing. I don't understand what would
you basically, you know, what you see is what you get, you know, and you know, I've never heard anybody try to use that sort of description on anything that you do in a ring.
Right, most definitely. You know, that's the only thing I can come up with because as far as in the ring, I don't know what can be criminalized, you know, as far as in the ring unless I'm showing action of me trying to actually kill a man. That's the only thing that I can see. You know what I mean? Other than that, that'll be something that someone has to ask him to reiterate on himself about, you know, clarifying what he meant by that. I would love to know myself, to be honest.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Because I want to add another thing, because if it's something to tear me down or something like that, then, you know, that'll make me even more, I will feel some type of way towards Ortiz even more than I'll feel a negative type of vibe towards him if he would ever try to tear me down or something. After I've blessed him twice, you know, I would love to know what he meant by that. You know what I mean? That could be definitely an it factor for you know, raising my blood. You know, he talking about taking blood pressure. medicine, that'll definitely raise my blood and make me want to even more hurt him more than what I want to do now. So he need to clarify that for me, before I take it in the wrong way. And we know when I get mad, it's over with. It's over with. So right now I'm mutual with him. I'm very respectful. He should thank God for me. I'm blessing him a second time, ladies and gentlemen, when I didn't have to. So I need that clarified. I'm going to take this the wrong way, and I'm going to really want to beat his ass.
Our last question will come from Carlos Toro with Fight Sports.
Thanks, Deontay, and thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. Obviously, early in the call, you mentioned, leaving no doubt when it comes to this rematch against Luis Ortiz. When you say that, do you believe that, is getting a win enough to silence any doubters, or does it have to come from another knockout?
No, I mean, a win is a win, whether it's ugly, pretty, or in between. A win is a win. But, my fashion, I never want to leave the ring without a man being knocked out. Either you knock me out or I knock you out. And that's the rules. That's the rules I play in this boxing industry. I don't play around with no one. I don't act like I play around with you. And everything I say, I mean. I make it loud and clear. I make what I say known. And I say it loud and clear, so there's no miscommunication between my language of words that I choose to use. I'm a knockout artist. That's what I come to do, to knock you out. That's plain and simple. There's no other barriers or words to explain that. That's just easy. I come to knock you out, point blank, period. I don't care who you is, where you from, or what you got going on at that time in your life. You signed the contract, you stepped in the ring with me, now your ass is grass.
After the first fight, obviously a lot of people were very excited when the first fight between the two of you was incredible. At the time when you beat Luis the first time, did you think that there was a time where you two might have to run it all the way back again, or did you not? Or did you think that part of your career was over against Luis Ortiz?
Oh, not at all. After that fight, I felt like I wanted to run it back. It was such a great fight, I definitely wanted to run that one back with him. That was a moment in time where I felt like that was a part of me proving myself as a heavyweight champion. A lot of people, take my fights and my opponents, whatever opponent may be satisfying for your taste of acknowledging me as the real king, the real champion of the division. Everybody got their own different opponents that they look and say, okay, I believe him. He's the real deal. And I think with Ortiz, it opened up a lot of people's eyes. I don't think I know. I know for facts it opened up a lot of people's eyes, and it allowed a lot of the haters or the doubters, I would say. It silenced the doubters, and it made them a big fan of mine. And now it's an uproar about Deontay Wilder. Not only because of the Ortiz fight one, but after my actions of what I've done after that, and here we are again running back around with Ortiz too. I always wanted to fight him again because I feel like it would be, good for boxing. It would be great for pay-per-view because of what we did the first time. And, I always say speaking, believe, receiving, and here we are now.
Lastly, I'm kind of backing off of the question at the start of your portion of the call. You said that, you kind of, give credit to Tyson Fury for taking advantage and going to WWE, doing something outside of boxing. If given the chance, whatever point in time, whether it be during your career or after your boxing career is done, if you're giving an opportunity to go to WWE, kind of do the same thing that Tyson Fury did for the past month, would you take it?
I mean, those WWE was a thing that we years ago talked about as far as promotion, and different things. And that's the reason why he's doing it, for promotion He's trying to get his name bigger in America, which, you know, that's a good route to take because, you know, WWE has, you know, millions upon millions of followers, you know, that looks at it. And, you know, so that was a good approach to him trying to build his name, especially after he coming from Vegas, you know, selling 20,000 seat 20,000 seat facility, and he only selling 3,500 the first time and 15 the second time. You know, the only reason he sold 35 the first time because he was coming off a fight with me, and people trying to understand him. The second time they understood that he was full of bullshit, and you know, and his numbers just went down. So now they're trying to put him. They're trying to find some type of way to market him even more for the rematch of the fight, and you know. And we're going to tell the difference. When I fight in Vegas, you're going to see the difference of what I do and what he did, and we'll know for sure who sold the pay-per-view. And I guarantee you right now it's going to be me. So, but if the opportunity came by at this point in time, you know, who knows? I mean, it all depends on what I got going on at the moment in time or when the opportunity presents itself, what the schedule is looking like. You know, my stardom has grown tremendously. You know, I'm everywhere. I got multiples of countries want to host me to their country. You know, I'm popping right now. I can say I'm popping. And, you know, life is great, you know, and I just want to continue to add to that. And, but who knows, man, I can't say no and I can't say yes. You know, I'm just going to keep that bridge open. You never want to burn bridges because you just never know when you may need to cross them again. So that bridge is still open.
Thanks, Deontay. Best of luck on November 23rd.
My man, thank you so much.
All right, Deontay, we know you're very busy and continuing to prepare yourself for your big matchup next Saturday, November 23rd, against Luis Ortiz on Fox Sports pay-per-view. Do you have any final comments, Deontay, before we get to Las Vegas next week ahead of your championship defense?
Oh, man, I just want to tell all the fans of boxing and fans, you know, that's going to tune in to boxing. I just want to say thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your time, you know, and your willingness to understand this sport. It's a brutal sport, you know, and I always say it all the time, you know, this is not a gentleman's sport for me. It may be for others, you know, but for me, we're not asking each other to hit each other in the head. You know, we're doing it on will because we're getting paid to do so. We have a job that we have to do. Might as well call us hitmen because that is what we do. We got a contract to beat somebody up, and we sign it, and we going to get it. We got a name on the paper, and it's a price on his head, and God damn it, I'm going to do my job well like I always do. So I appreciate you guys so much. You know, this last fight with Ortiz, it was an amazing fight. It was an exciting fight. You didn't know who was going to win. And this is the fight that you want to be looking at. This is the fight that you want to tune into and pay your money. If you can't be there, click that button, pay-per-view on Fox. You want to see a fight where you don't know what's going to happen, but you know on that point in time, something's going to happen? Wilder Ortiz is the fight to see. I can't wait to perform for you guys as I always do. I can't wait to you guys witness that you have a bad man in Deontay Wilder in America, and we ain't going nowhere. Up, on and upward from here and on out. Again, thank you guys for your love. Thank you guys for your time, and thank you for your money. I love you. God bless, and I can't wait.